Welcome to Hero Villains. In your mind, picture Colossus versus Girder, two giants with the ability to transform their bodies into a nearly indestructible metal, two embodiments of endurance and absolute raw power. On one side, the steel giant of the X-Men, the kind heart hidden beneath an impervious organic metal shell, the man who has clashed with the Juggernaut and the mightiest beings in Marvel. That is Colossus. On the other side, the Crusher of DC, the bald-headed thug with a body transmuted into a mysterious scrap metal, the one who has broken the bones of heroes and made even the Flash wary. That is Girder. When the Russian organic steel collides with the American scrap metal, when the combat skill of an X-Man confronts the frenzy of a supervillain, who will be the last one standing?
Pyotr, he was born on a collectivized farm in the Russian countryside, into a family of pure, simple farmers. Pyotr was a man of the soil, of paintings, and of peace. He possessed a sensitive soul, with hands that were born to hold a paintbrush, not to crush the bones of his enemies. He grew up surrounded by his family's love, with an innate talent for painting and a heart inclined toward good. But his destiny changed forever when his latent mutant power erupted. Not to flee or to attack, Pyotr used his strength for the first time to save his sister Ilyana from a runaway tractor. In that moment, his flesh transformed into a gleaming organic steel, and the farm boy became one of the most powerful mutants on the planet. Recruited by Charles Xavier, Pyotr joined the X-Men under the codename Colossus, becoming the pillar of physical strength for the team. But for Colossus, strength was never the ultimate goal. He hated violence, even though he was extremely good at it. He was a gentle giant, ready to sacrifice himself to protect his teammates and the innocent. Throughout his career, he has withstood attacks from the Juggernaut, fought the Hulk, and even sacrificed his own life to find a cure for the legacy virus, the disease that killed his sister. Pyotr's ability allows him to convert his cellular tissue into a form of organic osmium, an extremely dense metal armor. When, in this form, he is no longer an ordinary human. He becomes Colossus. This transformation is not just an outer shell of armor, it is a complete biological change. This osmium layer directly links to his nervous system and muscles, turning him into a fully metallic entity. Colossus is classified at the class 100 strength level, meaning he can lift approximately 100 tons with both arms extended in a standard weightlifting posture. This is a benchmark representing physical strength far exceeding most superheroes in the Marvel Universe. However, Thor and the Hulk are also placed in this same level, though in reality, both have repeatedly demonstrated capabilities far beyond the 100-ton limit. Colossus was once completely overwhelmed and defeated by Thor with just 2 attacks, while the God of Thunder was still not using his full power. Even at his peak performance, Colossus is only considered to be in the top tier of physically strong warriors, but not enough to match Marvel's most powerful entities. At his standard level, Colossus is often compared to warriors like War Machine. He has fought directly against powerful heralds like Gladiator and has the ability to withstand or inflict some degree of damage upon opponents on the level of Apocalypse. These feats prove that Colossus possesses formidable strength and extraordinary durability. However, whenever his opponents get truly serious and unleash their full capabilities, Colossus is almost unable to maintain a balance and ultimately fails. Meanwhile, Thor is not only on par with but superior to most of the opponents Colossus has ever encountered. Divine strength, millennia of combat experience, and Asgardian energy make Thor an opponent beyond Colossus's limits in his base state. However, everything changes when Colossus attains the unstoppable Colossus form. After receiving the blessing of Sidorak, he possesses a massive power source, similar to the Juggernaut, significantly increasing his strength, speed, durability, and resistance. In this state, Colossus easily defeats Red Hulk, an opponent famous for overwhelming power. He doesn't stop there, he also defeats the Juggernaut after his foe was empowered by one of the Serpent's hammers during the Fear Itself event. These feats elevate Colossus to an entirely different class compared to his regular version. In this form, Colossus is capable of going toe-to-toe with Thor. In some scenarios, he even has a genuine chance of victory thanks to nearly unstoppable physical strength and damage resistance, far exceeding normal limits. Even so, Thor still holds the advantage due to a far more versatile power set. Weather manipulation, lightning summoning, the ability to harness divine energy, wielding Mjolnir or Stormbreaker, combined with superior combat experience, allow Thor to maintain a wide array of offensive and defensive options. It is this versatility that still tips the balance slightly in the Thunder God's favor, though the gap is no longer vast, and the final outcome can absolutely change depending on the circumstances of the battle. Ever since Colossus was a teenager, Charles Xavier predicted that his physical strength would continuously grow over time. Colossus would reach a strength threshold on par with the Thing, Abomination, a non-enraged Hulk, and Thor without his strength-enhancing gear. Colossus's signature ability allows him to replace his entire outer organic structure with an organic steel possessing properties similar to osmium steel. The transformation process occurs almost instantaneously without disrupting his biological functions. Once the conversion is complete, his strength, durability, and resilience are amplified many times over. When shifted into his metallic state, Colossus can deliver punches powerful enough to shake the mightiest opponents. In one confrontation with the Hulk, he landed an extremely devastating blow. After suffering a severe injury during the Mutant Massacre event, Magneto used his powers to restructure the metallic cells within Colossus's body. This process not only healed him but also significantly enhanced his physical strength, the hardness of his armor, and his capacity to withstand highly destructive attacks. While maintaining his metallic form, Colossus is almost entirely independent of ordinary biological needs. He requires no food, water, or even oxygen to continue functioning for extended periods. The organic steel armor provides extraordinary defensive capabilities, allowing him to withstand extreme impacts. Large caliber gunfire, falls from tremendous heights, high voltage electrical currents, and even certain forms of magical attacks. It is this near absolute defensive ability that has made Colossus one of the most remarkably durable warriors in the X-Men. At another stage in his journey, Colossus became the chosen host of Sidorak. Sidorak is a multi-dimensional entity, virtually immortal, and a member of the Octessence, a group of beings possessing mystical power sources among the most formidable in the universe. Only the Vishanti are considered a true counterbalance to this group of entities. After receiving the power from Sidorak, Colossus ascended to an entirely new level. Based on his prior strength growth, this version was even superior to Cain Marko in many aspects. He relied not only on brute force but also on technique, surprising dexterity for his massive frame, and the ability to coordinate with his team. A Colossus who fights with skill and a cool head is exponentially more dangerous than a Colossus who only knows how to use raw power.
I really hope you will subscribe to the channel. That would help us out tremendously. And you are the most wonderful person. Thank you so much.
Now, let's talk about Girder. Anthony Woodward was not a scientist, not a billionaire, and certainly not a god. He was a construction worker, a man of dusty job sites, steel girders, and bags of cement. Anthony's life was a long, grueling cycle of backbreaking labor, exploitation, and the festering resentment toward an unfair world. The turning point in his life came from a horrific industrial accident. Anthony fell into a massive vat filled with an experimental hardening chemical designed to create super durable construction materials. Instead of drowning or being dissolved, the latent metagene within his body activated. The chemical seeped into every pore, bonding with his skin cells and muscle tissue, transforming him into a hybrid entity of man and an unknown alloy. Upon transformation, Anthony Woodward became Girder. His skin turned a dull, grayish hue, rough and pitted like oxidized steel girders, thick and hard enough that no conventional weapon could penetrate it. He possessed none of the glamour of Iron Man or the cold beauty of Colossus. Girder was crude, cumbersome, and carried the aesthetic of pure destruction. He realized that with this new power, he no longer had to bow his head to anyone. He abandoned the life of an honest worker to become a villain, an armored thug who used his strength for robbery, extortion, and to satisfy his personal grudges. Girder typically appears within the DC landscape, primarily as one of the rogues of the Flash, or as an obstacle for the Justice League Europe. He harbors no complex schemes for world conquest or the annihilation of the multiverse. Girder's goals are simple: money, local power, and the satisfaction of watching those noble spandex-wearing types struggle against his wall of steel flesh. He is the embodiment of stubborn brutality, a street thug equipped with the power of a bulldozer. Girder did not change Tony's thuggish nature. In fact, the new power only made him more dangerous. He became a recurring enemy of the Flash, Wally West, and a member of the Rogues, the most infamous supervillain group in Central City. With his metallic body, he is one of the few who can withstand the Flash's super speed punches without shattering. He has broken the bones of many heroes, destroyed everything in his path, and proven that he is not just a mindless block of metal, but a genuine threat with terrifying strength and brutality. Girder has no skill, no discipline, and no noble purpose. His strength comes from the chaos of recycled metal and pure destructive instinct. He is proof that sometimes the most terrifying thing is not a perfectly crafted weapon, but a walking, raging pile of scrap metal. Girder is one of the most formidable tanks at the street and mid-tier levels of the DC universe. He has no skill, but he compensates with a raw durability and strength that gives even superheroes a headache. Girder's sole weapon and defensive shield is his own body. The hardening chemical transformed his epidermis into an extremely dense organic alloy. This skin offers near absolute resistance to all forms of ammunition, from handguns and rifles to anti-tank missiles. He has casually walked through police gunfire, endured the supersonic momentum of the Flash's punches, though the Flash cannot penetrate his armor, only using inertial force to push him away, and survived explosions that leveled an entire city block. This armor also renders him immune to most toxins and gases, and allows him to withstand extreme pressure. Complementing the super durable skin is a muscular system reinforced by the alloy. Girder possesses enough strength to lift the weight of trucks, snap steel I-beams barehanded, and crush reinforced concrete as if it were a cookie. He can deliver punches with enough destructive force to collapse a multi-story building. However, Girder's strength lacks finesse and speed. It is the power of a sledgehammer slow, but carrying devastating weight. Girder is not just hard, his body also has the ability to absorb and disperse kinetic energy. When the Flash hits him at the speed of sound, instead of being penetrated, Girder's alloy layer vibrates and distributes the force throughout his body, preventing internal injury. He can fight continuously without fatigue because his alloy body does not produce the biological waste products that cause muscle exhaustion. Despite possessing a nearly impervious armor, Girder carries within him fatal weaknesses. First, he is extremely slow. The heavy alloy limits his movement speed to roughly that of an average person sprinting, and he is completely unable to compare with high-speed superheroes. Second, he is severely lacking in combat skill. Girder fights like a thug, relying entirely on charging in and using brute force to crush. He knows no martial arts, does not understand leverage, and is easily thrown off balance if his center of gravity is targeted. Third, depending on the chemical composition of his skin, certain specialized chemical solvents, or attacks targeting sonic frequencies, molecular vibration can soften or crack his armor. This is a battle of pure metallic collision, a showdown between two entities possessing extraordinary strength and durability. Strength. Both are immensely powerful, but Colossus holds a clear advantage based on his demonstrated feats. Girder can throw cars and destroy small buildings. But Colossus has grappled with and shaken entities like the Hulk and Juggernaut, beings whose strength is classified among Marvel's limitless tier. He has lifted a submarine, supported a collapsing building, and delivered punches that generate shock waves. Colossus's strength is firmly placed in the 100+ ton range, while Girder's strength, though impressive, is often portrayed at a lower level, expressed primarily through aggression rather than absolute lifting power or striking force. In a direct exchange, Colossus's punches will be heavier, with greater penetrating power and destructive force. Regarding durability, Girder has a significant advantage: the ability to self-regenerate by absorbing surrounding metal. His body is a jumbled mass of metal that can be constantly replaced and patched. If the battle takes place in a scrapyard, a city, or anywhere with abundant metal, Girder can continuously recover from Colossus's attack. This makes bringing him down with conventional punches extremely difficult. Colossus can break his arm, punch a hole through his chest, but Girder will immediately draw in metal to weld himself back together. However, Colossus's structure is purer and more uniform. It is organic osmium steel, a metal of extreme density and durability. His body is a single, cohesive mass, not a collection of metal fragments welded together. This means every part of Colossus's body possesses the same durability, whereas Girder's body has weak points at the weld seams, the connection points between different types of metal. A sufficiently powerful and precise punch from Colossus is entirely capable of shattering those bonds. Moreover, Moreover, Colossus can fight tirelessly for extended periods without needing to refuel with energy or matter. He requires no external metal source. His durability is intrinsic and independent of the environment. Girder is a brawler. He trusts in his aggression, strength, and regenerative ability. He charges at his opponent and throws punches. He has no plan B, no long-term strategy. He believes he will be the last one standing because he can take hits and recover better. He is essentially a punching bag addict. Colossus is the complete opposite. He is a rigorously trained warrior with decades of combat experience against every type of enemy, from street thugs to cosmic entities. He will quickly recognize Girder's regenerative ability and its weakness, the dependence on an external metal source. Colossus's tactic will not be to punch Girder until he falls, because in a metal-rich environment, that could be impossible. Instead, he will use his skill. He will throw Girder to the ground, use submission holds to neutralize him, or target the joints, the weakest weld seams on his body. A joint-breaking maneuver from Colossus will cost Girder an arm, and if Colossus keeps that arm or throws it far away, Girder will not be able to regenerate it immediately. Colossus can completely overwhelm Girder with technique, rendering his brute strength useless. The fight. Girder, with a home field advantage, charges at Colossus with a full-body punch. The two metallic bodies collide, producing a bell-like clang that echoes throughout the area. Girder swings continuously, blows crude as sledgehammers. Colossus raises his arms to block, gauging the force of the punches. He realizes Girder is very strong, but slow and devoid of technique. After a few exchanges, Colossus begins to counterattack. He does not punch Girder's face or torso, where the metal plating is thickest. He targets the shoulder joint. One precise punch, like the strike of a blacksmith's hammer, lands right on the connection point. Girder roars in pain as his right arm becomes loose. He tries to absorb metal to repair it, but Colossus doesn't give him time. He lunges in, using a perfect judo throw to slam the scrap metal giant onto the mud and iron-littered ground. Girder goes berserk, trying to get up, but Colossus has already locked his arm. With a terrifying, crushing force, Colossus snaps off Girder's injured arm and hurls it far away, out of sight behind a mound of scrap. Girder screams, trying to punch with his remaining arm, but Colossus easily dodges. He becomes unbalanced, frantic, and ineffective. Colossus continues this tactic, systematically disabling Girder's body parts. Precise blows to the knee, to the hip joint, robbing him of mobility. Girder can absorb metal, but he cannot reabsorb the parts thrown too far away quickly enough. Finally, when Girder is disoriented and his armor begins to show cracks from the sustained twisting force and leverage, Colossus delivers the finishing blow. This is a resounding victory for Colossus.
And that is our analysis of the battle between the Steel Giant and the Scrap Metal Crusher. Let us know your thoughts by commenting down below. Are you on the side of the Russian organic steel or the American scrap metal? If you enjoy epic matchups like this, don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any future battles. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you again in the next showdowns. That's the video for today. Thank you very much.